Dish Farm Field. 340 feet down the left field foul line. 325 the short porch down the right field line. 370 to the left center power alley in front of the Yeti Yard. 365 to the right center power alley in front of the fan zone there, that Ford bullpen area there. 405 feet to the deepest reaches of UFCU Dish Farm Field, deepest left center field and deepest right center field. 400 feet to straightaway center field with a 30-foot high wall, the hitter's backdrop extending up from there. It is a field turf surface covering the entirety of the playing surface here at UFCU Dish Farm Field, excepting, of course, the dirt pitcher's mound. The Cardinals of UIW attired in black caps. They have black jersey tops, and they had red numerals and white lettering and trim. Longhorns in the home white pinstripe look tonight. The burnt orange cap with a white block letter T on the front. It has white short sleeve jersey tops and white trousers with burnt orange pinstripes. Texas emblazoned across the front in burnt orange block rim cap lettering and a large burnt orange numeral gracing the back of the home. White jersey tops, white trousers with the burnt orange pinstripes, burnt orange letters and numerals. On the mound for the Longhorns is junior left-hander, and that is Cade Bean, who will go to the mound tonight. Cade, 0-1 with a 10.80 ERA, making his fourth appearance. This will be his first start this season, and he's worked 3 1/3 innings, allowed 2 hits. One of those was a homer, allowed 4 runs, all earned 1 walk, 2 strikeouts, 1 hit batter, and opposing hitters batting 167 against Cade Bean, a 6'1", 195-pound junior left-hander from West High School there in West Texas, right there along I-35 in McLennan County, and in fact started his collegiate career at McLennan College. Behind him defensively, Anthony Pack Jr. is in left field, Aiden Robinson center, Jaden DePlantier is in right, Casey Borba at third base, Temo Becerra at shortstop, Ethan Mendoza at second, Ashton Larson in his first start at first base. Andrew Ermis behind the plate and again on the mound is the junior left-hander, Cade Bean. And we'll see what Cade has in store for his opportunity to start tonight, his first start of the season. Leading it off for the Cardinals is Preston Newberry, the right fielder, batting .344 with 6 home runs and 23 runs batted in. Newberry is a redshirt junior. He's from Tyler, 5'10", 190-pound left-handed hitter. Bean works from that extreme first base side of the rubber. We're glad you're with us, and we're ready to go from here at UFCU Dish Farm Field. First pitch misses down and away for a ball to Newberry.
Well, it'll be important for Bean, who in his last outing really established the strike zone with his fastball. Missed with that first one right there, but we will watch that.
Here's the 0-1, or the 1-0 when it's fouled back. So the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike to Preston Newberry. This Incarnate Word team, you heard Jim Schlossnagle, those of you listening on the radio side, heard in the pregame talk about the fact they can swing the bat a little bit. They hit as a team .293, and they've hit 48 home runs this season. That pitch misses outside for a ball. So only 3 fewer homers than the Longhorns have hit. It's 2 balls and a strike. They'll also run when they get on the base paths. 39 out of 54 on the base paths. 2 balls and a strike the count to Newberry. And the pitch from Bean. And that's fouled straight back. Good hack at it from Preston Newberry.
No question. But you look at his numbers. 125 at-bats, 43 hits, scored 32 runs. This lineup, when I took a look at it after you said something and listened to Coach Slosh, I said, yeah, they do swing it from top to bottom pretty well.
2 balls, 2 strikes the count, and the 2-2 is off the plate for ball 3. Well, we know the Southland Conference to be one of the better mid-major leagues,
no question, in the country.
3 balls and 2 strikes to count to Newberry, leading off the top of the first. Here's the payoff. And a little check swing, will bouncer out in front of the mound, up with a Bean, whirls, fires to first in time for out number 1.
Always love to get that first out. If you play first base, you're going to get involved in the play, and Larson, when his first ever start over there, doesn't get a perfect throw, but still makes the play. I like that. As a player, you say, well, I got to be a little better here. Okay, I got that, got the out. I guarantee he's more relaxed right now than he was previously.
Get that first one out of the way.
Get it out of the way.
Here's Jake Weaver, the left fielder, swinging at the first pitch and lifts it foul out of play. Weaver batting .336, 5 home runs, 34 runs batted in. Jake is a senior out of Midway High in the Waco area. 5'10", 185-pound left-handed hitter. Alma mater, our good friend and colleague, Ty Harrington. Swings here, lifts a fly ball out to right center. Settling under is Robbins with the play, and Aiden will make the catch, and there are 2 down.
A lot different night than we've had the last few nights here at the Dish. This wind blowing in, ball's not going to carry. It makes it much easier to play in the outfield. You do not have to give ground early because the ball's going to be held up.
2 down. Tony DeJesus, the third baseman, stands in. DeJesus is batting .308, 4 home runs, 16 runs batted in for DeJesus. Digs in from the right side. And Bing from that first base side of the rubber, ready to bring it in. The first pitch is a fastball that missed upstairs for ball 1 to Tony DeJesus. He's a senior from San Diego, California. 6 foot, 190-pound right-handed hitter. 2 down, just getting started here in the top of the first inning. Lights are on here at the ballpark under partly cloudy skies. The 1-0, fouled back. Count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike.
So far, so good, being attacking. I like this. He's had a lot of balls fouled off, and ball's got some movement in it, and he's been in the strike zone.
Incarnate Word has the word Cardinals in large red block print cap lettering on the front. They have white pants with black pinstripes tonight to go with those black caps. The 1-1. That's down and in for ball 2.
I just call them UIW.
Yeah, absolutely. They are the University of the Incarnate Word and would prefer that you just go ahead and call them UIW. 2 balls and a strike, the count to Tony DeJesus. The 2-1 from Bing. Check swing, and it's low and inside, and the count is 3-1.
I like that little cutter. Just missed the strike zone, but in a perfect location. That left-handers, that glove side cutter could be a dynamite pitch for him.
3 balls and a strike to count the Tony DeJesus. The 2 down here in the top of the first. The 3-1, fastball there, strike 2 call. Came back with a heater in there. And the count is full.
Jesus thought it might have been up. I know it had plate.
So the count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to count to Tony DeJesus. Here's the payoff pitch from Bing, and that's high for ball 4. So DeJesus draws a 2-out walk. And that'll bring the designated hitter, Chris Enriquez, to the plate. Enriquez is batting .333 with 2 home runs and 16 runs batted in. Christian, his full name, 6 foot, 265-pound redshirt senior right-handed hitter from Fontana, California. Actually, left-handed hitter, I said right, left-handed hitter. So it's a lefty-lefty matchup here with 2 down and a runner aboard at first in the top of the first. Being ready. First pitch, fastball there for a strike.
Good location. Outside corner. A little bit of a shift on. It's not a full shift, Craig. It's more of a
modified
shift.
A gentle shift, perhaps. Nothing in 1 to count. A stretch. Toss over to first. DeJesus is 4 out of 6 on the base pass. As we said, Incarnate Word will run some. UIW 39 out of 54 on the base pass. Enriquez at the plate from the left side against the left-hander Cade Bing. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Cade. And jammed him. He fouled it on the third base side out of play. And fan dropped it there long enough, but was able to kind of run it down along the concourse. Kind of
I thought he dropped a pizza, but that was a pad for his seat pad.
Yeah.
I thought it was a pizza he dropped for the ball, and I went, man, you're going to drop a pizza?
I was starting to say, the pad you can drop. You don't want to drop the pizza.
Yeah.
0-2 the count. Bing coming home in the pitch. Again, jammed him. Again, fouled out of play on the third base side.
Good location. He's got him set up, Greg, now for the slider. Or the cutter. Away from him. He's gone inside back to back. Really tied him up. So if he doesn't go away from him here with a breaking ball, I think he can get the strikeout.
No balls and 2 strikes to count with 2 down. Cade Bing ready. Here's the 0-2 to Christian Enriquez, and that's high with the fastball.
Back to the heater again.
So it's 1-2. Might he come back with the breaking ball now?
Yeah, he's set up. It's still there. He hasn't seen it, and he's been jammed twice.
1-2 the count to Christian Enriquez. The stretch, the pitch from Bing. outside. Did try to go.
Yeah, just missed. It was a ball out of his hands. If you can come back with that break ball for young pitchers, you get a guy speed, what I call speed him up because you've jammed him inside. He's trying to get the barrel there. You just got to make it look like a strike out of your hand. It can't be away as soon as it leaves your hand.
The 2-ball, 2-strike pitch to Christian Enriquez will be delayed as they throw over to first. Getting back to the bag quickly was DeJesus, who'd been dancing off the bag on a couple of the prior pitches. Draws a healthy lead from the bag. Here's the stretch now. Bing, the 2-ball, 2-strike pitch to Enriquez. Pops him up, left side, foul territory. Will it stay in play? It will not. In fact, it'll land on the concourse area and take a huge bounce up into the grandstand. And they'll do it all over again at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Bing has made 20 pitches to this point. Pitch count not as big a deal tonight when you're planning to use more than one arm. So
yeah, you're right, but efficiency, he got 2 quick outs, and now he's struggled to get that 3rd one here to get that final out of the inning.
Yet another 2-ball, 2-strike pitch from Cade Bing to Christian Enriquez. Runner goes, swing and a miss, strikeout, and that will retire the side as Cade Bing works around the 2-out walk to get his first strikeout of the evening and to set down the Cardinals. In the top of the first, no runs, no hits, and a man left. They're a half inning of play at UFCU Disch-Falk Field. It's UIW nothing, and the Longhorns coming to bat. Longhorn baseball continues at home.
First, Longhorns and Cade Bing out of the top of the first. Did get a base runner, did UIW. The Longhorns will come to bat, and they'll face a local product. Matthew Foley is a 6'3", 200-pound redshirt junior. He's from Cedar Park High. On the year, we'll look at Foley. He's making his 8th appearance, his 2nd start, 0-1 record, 13.50 earned run average. He's pitched 8 innings, allowed just 7 hits, 13 runs, 12 of those earned. And the reason is he's hit 5 batters, folks, and he has walked 11. He's also struck out 9, thrown 3 wild pitches. So command has been his problem. He's got good stuff. They would like to get him going. So we give him the opportunity to get a start here against Texas. Top of the order, too, here in the bottom of the first.
Behind Foley defensively for UIW, Jake Weavers in left field, Trent Rucker in center, and Preston Newberry's in right. Tony DeJesus at third base, Cole Tabor the shortstop, Drake Anderson at second, Tyler Garitano at first, Colin Cymbalista behind the plate on the mound, the redshirt junior right-hander, Matthew Foley. Leading it off for the Longhorns is Ethan Mendoza. Ethan's batting .281 with 7 homers and 29 runs batted in. In from the right side against the right-hander. In the first pitch, misses downstairs for a ball to Mendoza. 5'10", 200-pound junior right-handed hitter. South Lake Carroll in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Began his collegiate career at Arizona State before transferring in a year ago. Here's the stretch. The pitch to Mendoza. Bounces down, so Ethan really starting to get back in the groove. Keith had the home run in the weekend series at South Carolina, starting to swing a better bat.
Yeah, much better. He went through a stretch there of about 40 at-bats where he was not using the whole field, got away from who he is. He's a guy that you can see the defense lined up. It's pretty much straight away everywhere because he can hit the ball down the left field line or the right field line.
2-0 pitch he takes for a strike, and it's 2 balls to the strike the count.
And I think during the stretch when he was struggling a little bit, he got pull conscious. And boy, it happens to all of us. You start feeling pretty good, see the ball pretty well, and you get a little bit too much doing. Go back to what you basically do.
The 2-ball, 1-strike pitch. Mendoza swings and drives one well. Out to deep right center field, and it'll bounce against the wall. Ethan will make a turn and hold at second. An opposite field leadoff double for Ethan Mendoza.
Chris got through talking about he's been using the whole field and not getting pull conscious. And this Texas team has good power the other way. They've just got, as a whole, want to use the whole field, and boy, does a nice job. And shoots it into that breeze a little bit right there. Craig, you can see that breeze make that ball fade away from the center fielder.
You're right, it's kind of coming in on us a little bit. So Mendoza, the leadoff opposite field double, and brings Carson Tinney to the plate. Speaking of the guys who've been swinging the hot bat of late. Tinney in from the right side. First pitch to Carson misses upstairs for a ball. Tinney's batting an even 300 now with 10 homers, 24 runs batted in for Tinney. Right-handed hitting junior transfer from Castle Pines, Colorado. Transferred in from Notre Dame. 6'4" and 240 pounds. And takes a pitch down in the field turf for a ball. The count is 2 balls and no strikes to Tinney.
You can just see him getting more and more comfortable. He's always been a second half of the season hitter, spending a little time with him. So he said, I can feel better the more at-bats I get.
2-0 fastball upstairs for ball 3. How about the home run he hit, the opposite field homer the other day in Columbia, right down the line?
Yeah, and then let's talk about the line drive that got 10 feet off the ground that went out to left. Had a really good series.
3-0 the count to Carson. And he'll take all the way for a strike. It's 3 balls and a strike to Tinney. Tinney will look into the dugout. Head coach Jim Schlossnagle. Glance down the third. Nolan Kane, the associate head coach in the third base coaching box for Texas. Garrett Mosiello working that first base coaching box for the Horns. The 3-1 is in tight for ball 4, and that's a walk to Tinney. And Texas has the first 2 runners aboard here in the bottom of the first.
Good at bat by both the first 2 hitters. Get a chance here maybe to jump, play with the lead.
Well, you mentioned Foley with the free passes being the problem. 5 hit batters and 11 walks in 8 innings of work. So now it's 12 walks in 8 innings because he has yet to retire a batter here in the bottom of the first, and now facing the leading hitter in the Longhorn lineup, Aiden Robbins. Robbins batting .349, 11 homers, 33 runs batted in, leading the club in that department. And he looks at the first pitch for a strike. Robbins, of course, the transfer from Yardley, Pennsylvania, Holy Ghost Prep, transferred him from Seton Hall. 6'2", 205-pound junior right-handed hitter. The stretch. Here's the pitch, and he swings here and chops this on the ground foul past third. Now Aiden quickly down on the count, 0-2.
2 back-to-back sliders to start the at-bat.
So no balls, 2 strikes the count. Mendoza, who is 6 for 6 on the base pass, the runner at second. Tinney even, DHing and catching. He's 2 out of 3. Longhorns have stolen 59 bases in 67 tries. The 0-2 to Robbins. The runners are off. The pitch is upstairs, and there won't even be a throw. There it is, the double steal. Mendoza 7 for 7. Tinney's 3 for 4. Count is 1 ball and 2 strikes on a pitch that was high, and great pitch to run, and the guys steal.
Tried to go back door. That's the interesting part. They were going to throw down to second, nobody covering.
Now the pitch, and that's high, and the count is even. The Robbins at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
It's called a back pick. Sometimes you see first and second steal, but you have to have somebody cover the base at second base.
Nobody moved.
Nobody moved.
2 balls, 2 strikes to count Aiden Robbins. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Robbins caught a tip of it into the mid. But it's a strikeout, and an important first strikeout for Matthew Foley.
That had a little hop to it, that 92 miles an hour, but good movement on it. And after seeing that many breaking balls, it just Got by Aiden. No chance to make contact. Here comes a young man that's been impressive.
Anthony Pack Jr. is batting .324 with 4 homers and 28 runs batted in, but that only begins to tell the story of what he's been up to of late. First pitch misses high for a ball. Last week, Pack reached safely in 10 of his 13 plate appearances just in the series against South Carolina. He had 8 hits across the 3-game set, hit .727. Here's the 1-0. High, 2 balls, no strikes. He had 3 consecutive multi-hit performances, delivering the game-winning 2-run double in that series-securing 4-1 win on Saturday. Anthony Pack Jr., the left-handed hitting 5'10", 190-pound freshman from Lakewood, California. The 2-0. That's in there for a strike.
You know, I asked him, I had him on the post, and I just asked him, I said, you know, moving into the 4, he says, it's not changed me. I got to do what I do, and that's use the whole field, and that's what coaches told me. So he's not really a 4-hole hitter, but he's really filled into that gap.
2-1 pitch, and that's going to get away from the catcher, Cymbalista. Trotting in to score from third base is Mendoza. Carson Tenney moves down to third. A run scores, and the Longhorns lead it 1-0.
Well, we talked about the wild pitches that Foley had also had. That one just gets away. I'm not sure that's going to be a wild pitch or a pass ball. We'll see what the call is, but the steal turns into a run.
And it's now 3 balls and a strike. It is scored as a wild pitch. Think about it, Mendoza leadoff double, stole third, score on the wild pitch. Tenney a walk, a stolen base. This one's chopped on the ground. It's a fair ball, and it'll get the run home. Pack rounds out the first unassisted. Tyler Garitano steps on the bag, but Pack is able to deliver Tenney with a second run in the inning, and the Longhorns now lead it 2-0.
That's good offensive baseball. Infield's back, 1 out, man on third base, get him in any way you can. Just like that, Longhorns find a way to put a 2 spot on the board.
2 down, 3 unassisted on the play, the RBI to Pack. Here's Casey Borba. Borba batting .307, 10 homers, 32 runs batted in for Borba, a junior right-handed hitter from Santa Ana, California. 6'1" and 210, and takes the first pitch upstairs for a ball.
Those are awful good offensive numbers, but what's impressed me is his ability, what he's done at first base defensively, and now moving over to third. He's been very good.
Managed both corners quite well defensively. Looks at a pitch for a strike on the inside corner. Ball and a strike to count to Borba with 2 down here in the bottom of the first. Texas jumping to a 2-0 lead. So a ball and a strike to count. A stretch from Foley in the pitch. It bounces about a 57-footer. Skips back to the screen. By the way, when I mentioned about Tenney drawing the walk, a steal of second on the back end of a double steal, moved to third on that wild pitch, and came in on the RBI ground out. That stolen base for Carson, his third. I mentioned he's 3 out of 4. He has more stolen bases this year, as that pitch is fouled in the play. More stolen bases this year for Carson Tenney. He's now 3 out of 4 than in his first 2 years combined.
Yeah, I don't think he was asked to do much at Notre Dame as far as running. But we've seen him take off, and the one that he got thrown out on, he just left a little early. It was a pickoff. He didn't get thrown out trying to steal. He just left too early.
2 balls, 2 strikes, the count of Casey Borba. Foley's pitch up and tight, and the count is full. So now Foley about to throw his 25th pitch in this bottom of the first inning. 3 balls and 2 strikes to count. The payoff pitch to Borba, and that almost hit him. It went inside for ball 4. Second walk of the inning issued by Matthew Foley, and the Longhorns again have a base runner here with 2 down. It's going to bring Temo Becerra to the plate. Temo's batting .297, 5 homers, 24 runs batted in. Becerra, redshirt senior, the 5th-year senior transfer from Clovis, California. 6 feet, 195 pounds, transferred in from Stanford, and he has transitioned, Keith, pretty much seamlessly over to short in place of the injured Adrian Rodriguez, as Temo was playing at third with Borba at first, but when A-Rod Had to have the procedure on the wrist.
Yeah.
Took him out of the lineup. No problem for Becerra. Played short at Stanford, goes over there, and has handled the position well. Here's the first pitch, and it's a strike called at the knees.
Well, you got to have depth on the club, even though a guy may be starting at another position and playing extremely well, but you get an injury, you may have to adjust things. The Longhorns are going to have to be in this adjustment for, I would think, a minimum of 5 more games.
A stretch in the 0-1. Check swing, a strike called, and it's 0-2. You mentioned about Becerra seamlessly transitioning to short because he'd had experience playing shortstop at Stanford. He started 51 games at short for the Cardinal last year. So no major adjustment there for the pitch. And he fouls up the ball. You have to get used to it playing on the field turf here as opposed to that natural grass surface at Sunken Diamond, but no problem.
We've all been there. Sunken Diamond is an unusual place to play baseball.
I think that's a little bit of an understatement. No balls and 2 strikes to count. The 0-2 pitch flies up behind the head of Becerra. And it's 1-2. One ball and 2 strikes to count. Borba, who's 3 out of 4 on the base pass, draws a lead from first. The right-hander Matthew Foley ready with the 1-2. Swung on and a ball hit out toward right. Backpedaling is Newberry, the right fielder, but he has a play. He'll make the catch, and that will retire Texas in the first. But the Longhorns take advantage of the free passes and a wild pitch. They score 2 runs in the inning on 1 hit with 1 runner left on base. To 1 complete here at UF Swedish Falk Field.
Second inning. Glad you're with us, Keith Mullen. Craig Way, almost said Roger Wallace, because it's been a while since Craig's been with us. Glad to have you back, partner.
Well,
no runs, no hits, no errors for UIW. 2 runs, 1 hit, no errors for Texas, as you've been covering a great run by men's and women's basketball teams here at the University of Texas. You've been in postseason mode for a month.
Yeah, 9 NCAA games overall between the men's and women's programs combined. Colin Cymbalista leads it off. The UIW catcher swings and misses at the first pitch for strike 1. Cymbalista batting .302, 5 homers, 23 runs batted in, swings and pulls 1 foul past third. Quickly, Cade Bing ahead of him, no balls and 2 strikes. Cymbalista is a senior from Pickerington, Ontario, Canada. 6 foot, 200-pound senior right-handed hitter. Spells it C-Y-M-B-A-L, like a symbol, but I-S-T-A, Cymbalista. The shift is employed now for the Longhorns over toward the left side as Cade Bing is quickly ahead of Cymbalista. No balls, 2 strikes.
Bullpen active for UIW. I would think we're going to see a new pitcher in the bottom of the frame.
Here's the stretch and the pitch. That misses for a ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count to Colin Cimbalista. A windup in the pitch. Swung on, and that is hit on the line to left. Charging, coming in to make the catch. Anthony Pack Jr. got the glove out there to keep it from sinking completely down on him for out number 1.
Well, good adjustment to the ball in the air. And again, wind is a little different when these guys took BP and taking their fly balls in pregame. You see a much shallower playing outfield for both sides now because you can play in a little bit because the ball's not going to carry, and did a nice job adjusting to that.
1 down.
Making the play.
The shortstop, Cole Tabor, looks at a first pitch strike. Tabor, left-handed hitter, batting .289 with 11 home runs, leads the team in that category. 40 runs batted in, leads them in RBIs as well. Swings here and hits the ball well out toward left center, but playable, trotting over toward the alley in left center to make the catch is Robbins, and 2 quick outs, just like he did in the top of the first, registered by Cade Bean.
Yeah, attack the strike zone with your stuff, and he's done that so far.
So with 2 down, Drake Anderson, the second baseman, stands in. Anderson batting .302, 4 homers, 22 runs batted in. Drake, redshirt senior, 5'10", 180 pounds. And the first pitch is in for a strike. In from Puyallup, Washington. That's in the SeaTac area in between Seattle and Tacoma.
By the airport.
Not far. Not far. The 0-1. Swings here and hits the ball well, but it'll stay in the ballpark. Drifting toward the line, Pack with the catch. And Cade Bean has an 8-pitch second inning. 1, 2, 3 go the Cardinals. We go to the bottom of the second inning with a score Texas 2, UIW nothing. Longhorn baseball continues in a moment.
Goes to the bullpen as we anticipated. Amir Encalada is the new pitcher. He is a 6'3", 190-pound redshirt junior. He's from Alexander High School in Laredo, Texas, and he is making his 12th appearance of the year. He has started 6 ball games, 0-1 record, 13.72 earned run average. He's pitched 20 1/3 innings, allowed 32 hits, 31 runs, 31 of those earned. He's walked 14, struck out 16. He's allowed 18 extra base hits, including 8 home runs. He's also thrown 4 wild pitches. He's hit 3 batters. He's balked once. And he's been their Tuesday guy a lot. But he comes in here in the second inning. Texas leads 2-0, and coming to the plate will be the bottom third for the Horns here in the bottom of the second.
Matthew Foley pitched 1 inning. Allowed 1 hit, 2 runs, both earned. He walked 2 batters, struck out 1 through 1 wild pitch. That brought a run home. And threw a total of 30 pitches, obviously on the hook for the defeat if the Longhorns maintain the lead. Leading it off is Ashton Larson, who is getting his first collegiate start at first base. Squares to bunt and takes it off the plate for a ball. Larson batting an even .300 with a homer, 9 runs batted in for Larson, the junior transfer left-handed hitter from Overland Park, Kansas at 6'1" and 200 pounds. And transferred in from LSU. Squares again, takes a pitch for ball 2, and it's 2 balls and no strikes to Larson, who's proven to be a utility man here early on. Outfield position, now at first base. His first collegiate start at first. Takes off the plate, ball 3. Like we said, he had a collection of innings worked at first base. Has not started any collegiate games at first. He worked innings 5, 6, and 7 for LSU 2 years ago. Here's the 3-0. And that's a strike, 3-1. That was a 27-5 win for the Tigers over VMI. And then he also did 3 innings 7, 8, and 9 in a win over Rice, a 16-4 win a couple of weeks after that, late February of 2024, more than 2 years ago, and draws a leadoff walk. So in his first start at first base of his collegiate career, Larson has handled the throws to him, and now he draws a leadoff walk.
You're always trying to build depth, especially what's going on right now with Jonah out for the year and A-Rod down for an extended period of time.
Brings Andrew Ermis to the plate, the Longhorn catcher, batting .364 in limited duty. No homers, 4 runs batted in, and that pitch hit him. Came in and got him on the left arm. And so Ermis is able to take first base. First time this season he has been hit. But the Longhorns quickly have 2 on and nobody out on a pair of free passes, a walk and a hit batter.
Hasn't really been close, to be honest. So interesting, quick visit. One of those 6 times that a catcher or pitching coach or can't go twice in an inning from the bench anyway. And so a little quick visit. Have struggled with command so far, have pitchers for UIW.
Jaden Duplantier comes to the plate. Gumbo's batting .288 with a homer and 11 runs batted in. The 6', 200-pound senior right-handed hitter out of Summer Creek High in the Humble ISD in the greater Houston area. So 2 aboard, nobody out. One might imagine to see Duplantier square here. Yep, does. Takes a fastball for a strike. So showed bunt, took the pitch for the strike. Duplantier has sacrificed twice so far this season. Squares again and takes the pitch low. The count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, we saw this in Columbia, South Carolina. It was a major part of Game 2 of getting balls on the ground and doing the things you needed to do. It's not a part of this arsenal very often.
This one's bunted. An excellent bunt. Third base side. Going to be a tough play, and it's high. And Duplantier able to beat that out. I think that'll be scored a bunt base hit, and the bases are loaded with nobody out.
Yeah, it can't be played any better than that. But Gumbo just beat it out down the line, and that's going to be an infield knock. All of a sudden, Texas has them loaded with nobody out. So back to the top.
And so, Keith, it's been a walk, a hit batter, and a bunt single. Load them up.
Augie's not here anymore.
His spirit still surrounds
yes,
the ballpark.
It does.
Ethan Mendoza doubled, stole third, and scored on a wild pitch last inning. So Mendoza at the plate with the bases loaded and nobody out. And couldn't check his swing when after that breaking ball and missed it for strike 1.
Yeah, I was looking heater. Got the changeup.
So 0-1 the count to Mendoza. Amir Encalada with a pitch. Swung on, ground ball, hit in the hole at short, knocked down by the shortstop. Going to be a tough play across the diamond in time to get Mendoza, but scoring from third base is Ashton Larson. Ermis moves to third, Duplantier to second, an RBI ground out extends the Texas lead to 3-0.
I want to tell you, this is outstanding play by Tabor. I thought this ball was into left field and was going to drive in a couple of runs. And he lays his body out, uses the turf perfectly to make an excellent throw to get Mendoza to take a base hit away from him. He does get an RBI, but outstanding defensive play right there.
6-3 ground out. Credit Ethan Mendoza with his 30th RBI of the season. Now with 2 in scoring position, 1 down. Carson Tinney back at the plate. Looks at the first pitch. Ball 1. Tinney walked. Stole second. We mentioned the now 3 out of 4 in steals, and that's more than the last 2 seasons combined on the base pass when he played for Notre Dame. Moved to third on a wild pitch and scored on an RBI ground out. The pitch misses outside. 2 balls and no strikes to count to Tinney. 1 gone, bottom of the second inning with Texas leading UIW 3-0. The stretch from the right-hander, Amir Encalada. That one's down and in for ball 3. Welcome those of you tuning in on the simulcast on SEC Network Plus tonight, as well as those of you who listen to us on the apps and over the air. The 3-0 pitch is ball 4, and that's going to load the bases. Bases are loaded again. We're on 103.1 FM, Austin's 80 station tonight, as well as folks being able to listen on the Texas Longhorns app, the iHeartRadio app, online at texaslonghorns.com, wherever, however you're tuned in, viewing, watching. Glad to have you with us here on this pleasant Tuesday evening. And it's been pleasant for the Longhorns right now. 3-0, and the bases loaded here in the second with 1 out for Aiden Robbins. Robbins struck out swinging his first time up. Big swing there, and missing that one for strike 1.
Aiden's seen 5 breaking balls in his 2 at-bats already.
Would you say the word is out on him?
You got to go right center.
Yeah.
When he's swinging it, though, he goes to right center and goes there well.
The 0-1. Big swing there and missed again on it, and it's 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes to count to Robbins.
Yeah, as a pitcher, why am I going to change anything here? I'm going to go back with another one. You got to force, and if I'm a hitter, I got to see the ball first.
No balls, 2 strikes to count. Here's the 0-2. Swing and a miss, and on 3 pitches, Robbins strikes out. First strikeout for Amir Encalada, and they're now 2 down.
Just had him out in front on all 3 pitches. Pack, and now you're going to have to do it with 2 outs. And on the other side, make a good pitch here and survive the inning after having bases loaded, nobody out.
Anthony Pack Jr., an RBI ground out last inning in his first trip to the plate. First pitch, misses low and away, ball 1. Andrew Ermis is at third base. Jaden Duplantier at second. Carson Tinney at first. 2 down with the bases loaded here in the bottom of the second, and Texas leading the University of the Incarnate Word, UIW. They lead 3-0. That pitch skips back to the screen. Coming down, Ermis, and he's able to score from third base on another wild pitch. This inning taking on the look of the last inning, where free passes and wild pitches have added up. So Ermis scores from third base.
Well, they scored 2 runs in the inning. He only hits an infield bunt single.
So another wild pitch. Here's the pitch to Pack. And he'll take that off the plate.
Now, this is interesting. I would not throw a cookie here if I was a pitcher. I know you've struggled to throw strikes a little bit, but 3-0, left-handed hitter, I wouldn't. He was taking all the way, so I wouldn't be sure right there.
Takes the strike, and it's 3-1 to Anthony Pack Jr. 2 runs across the board in each of the first 2 at-bats. Longhorns looking for more here in the bottom of the second. 3-1 the count to Anthony Pack Jr. And he takes high, ball 4, and the bases will reload for the 3rd time this inning. First base was open. Pack draws the 3rd walk of the inning in addition to a hit batter.
We're going to have a pitching change.
Yep, they'd had the bullpen warming up, and So far, both Matthew Foley and Amir Encalada have struggled to find the strike zone. So we have a call to the bullpen, a pitching change. We'll take a break with Texas leading 4-0, and Longhorn baseball continues in a moment.
Seventh appearance of the year for UIW is Jake Bluda. He has no record, 6.23 earned run average. He's pitched 13 innings, allowed 16 hits, 10 runs, 9 of those earned. He's walked 5 while striking out 10. He surrendered 6 extra base hits, including a homer. He's thrown 2 wild pitches in his outings. He's also hit 1 batter. So he comes on third pitcher of the night here. Bottom of the second, Longhorns have them loaded 2 across in the inning, and it's been all about the free pass because only 1 hit in the inning, and that was a bunt single to Plantier that loaded the bases the first time. So they're loaded again as Borba will be coming to the plate.
Yeah, and the book not yet closed on Amir Encalada, obviously, here with the Longhorns keeping the base pass active. So Jose Bluda out of the bullpen. And he will now go to the mound with the bases loaded and 2 down. And it'll be Casey Borba to the plate. He walked last inning. So tough outing for Amir Encalada. Couple of outs registered, but has already surrendered 2 runs, and the bases are loaded, all his property. So Borba at the plate now to face Bluda with 2 down. Bluda work from the windup. The first pitch misses down and in for a ball. Jaden Duplantier at third base. Carson Tinney at second. Anthony Pack Jr. at first. Out of the windup, the pitch from Bluda. And that one's in there for a strike. So the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Borba settles back into the box from the right side. Here's the pitch from the right-hander, Bluda. Swung on and lifted foul out of play, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, went to an overhand breaking ball there. Left it up a little bit. Casey just a little bit off balance when he went to go swing. So sometimes pitchers could make a pitch like that. Now to come back with a good one, maybe get out of the inning.
A ball and 2 strikes to count to Borba. And the 1-2. That's down there and 1 hop nicely. Good grab by Cymbalista, the catcher.
Good pick. That saved a run.
So the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes now. Bluda into the windup. The 2-2. Swung on, and that's lined down the left field line. That'll fall in. 2 runs will score on the play. Borba, a big turn, and he will stand at second with an RBI double. The throw gets away from shortstop. Trotting in to score is Pack. All 3 runners on base score. 2 on the double, 1 on an error, and it's now the Longhorns opening things up here as they score 3 more runs coming in, and Texas now leads it 7-0.
Yeah, the throw coming in was, I would call it a double. I think they will call it a double. The throw coming in wasn't that bad. Just couldn't pick it, and when he swiped at it, he sort of knocked it away, and that allowed Pack to score easily, and Longhorns get separation.
All 3 of those runs will be charged to Amir Encalada. And now Temo Becerra at the plate. He flied to right his first time up to close out the first inning and looks at the first pitch for a strike. So all 3 runners come in. 2 on the double by Borba, and the other on the error as the ball skipped away and got away from the shortstop Cole Tabor. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Misses low. 1 ball and 1 strike the count. The Longhorns have pushed 5 across here in the bottom of the second. As Keith mentioned, they now have some separation. And Borba standing at second base with 2 down. Lestrench in the pitch. And that one's in there for a strike. And you can see Temo wanted to go and then laid off and took it.
Really took something off at 72 miles an hour on that curveball. And he kept his hands back just a little bit, but his body got out of rhythm with it.
1 ball and 2 strikes to count to Temo Becerra. And he chops this one on the ground. Going to be a tough play. Up with it, unable to get the handle on it was Tabor. And the inning continues as Becerra is safe at first.
Well, Tabor, you mentioned it was going to be a difficult play to get an out on, and he tried to catch and throw in the same motion, and the ball just came out of his glove. I'd be hard-pressed to give him an error on that to see what the call is.
By the way, on the earlier play, as Keith mentioned, yes, Casey Borba was credited with 2 RBIs on the double. The error was charged to the left fielder Jake Weaver on the throw that came in, and that allowed Pack to score. So that's how all 3 of those runs score. Now runners on the corners with 2 down for Ashton Larson. Squares to bunt and drops a bunt, third base side, and this is going to be an RBI bunt single. Ashton Larson just dropped one. A slow roller up the third base side. No chance for DeJesus, the third baseman, to make a play. Scoring from third base on the play is Casey Borba, and it is now 8-0 Texas.
Perfectly placed bunt, second of the ball game by Texas, and not going to do much about it. He put it in his pocket. He knew he couldn't make a play on it as Larson was down the line with the infield back. 11th batter of the inning comes to the plate.
And if you are scoring, that Becerra play was an infield single there that Tabor couldn't get the handle on. Longhorns have batted around, and now Ermis, who got it all really accelerated, back at the plate. Larson started the inning with a leadoff walk and came around the score, and now he has a bunt single to drive in a run, and he's the runner at first. Swing and a miss from Ermis, who was hit by a pitch and scored on a wild pitch. So 6 runs have crossed the plate for Texas here in the bottom of the second inning. An 8-0 lead on a total of 4 hits, taking advantage of the walks, 2 hit batters, an error allowing another run to score. The 0-2. Swing and a miss, and Ermis strikes out, and that will retire Texas here in the third inning. But the Longhorns do open it up. They score 6 runs on 3 hits with an error and 2 runners left on base. We're through 2 complete at UFC Dish Falk Field. It's now Texas 8, UIW nothing. Longhorn baseball continues in a moment.
top of the third. Texas now gets some separation. Comes up with a 6 spot in the bottom of the second inning. Scoreboard totals are now correct. No runs, no hits, 1 miscue for UIW. 8 runs, 5 hits, no errors for Texas as we go to the top of the third.
Cade Bing to face Tyler Garitano leading off, and he takes a pitch for a ball. Bing had the quick turnaround after that 24-pitch first inning, just 8 in the second. And that pitch misses low. 2 balls, no strikes. Garitano, the first baseman, batting .311 with a homer and 4 runs batted in. So 2-0 the count. Bing with the 2-0. That's high for ball 3. Garitano, 6'1", 210-pound junior. He's from Bernie. Former Bernie Greyhound from Kendall County, up northwest of San Antonio. Here's the 3-0. And that's a 4-pitch leadoff walk to Tyler Garitano. So after a quick 1-2-3 inning and 4 overall retired by Bing, who was not allowed to hit yet, he has walked 2 batters now. And here's the number 9 hitter in the Cardinal lineup, Trent Rucker. Rucker, a .263 batting average, 5 homers, 24 runs batted in. Trent's a senior, 6'3", 195-pound right-handed hitter. The stretch in the first pitch. Swung on, and that is going to be the first hit of the ball game for UIW as it's lined in the center for a base hit. Big jump and rounding second is Garitano. He'll reach third, and so the first 2 have been able to reach base for UIW. Leadoff walk to Tyler Garitano, and now a single to center by Trent Rucker.
That's what happens when you walk the leadoff guy. The next guy comes to the plate, he's pretty sure you're going to get a fastball from the pitcher after the walk, and got a ball away from him. Boy, put a good swing on it. Now back to a couple of left-handed hitters in a row here with nobody out.
Preston Newberry was retired on a comebacker to the mound. Signs being flashed around the infield by the catcher, Mermis. So Newberry from the left side against the left-hander, Cade Bing. Runners on the corners, nobody out here in the top of the third. He'll throw to first, and that was close because Rucker was leaning towards second, and he had to scramble to get back in time.
Yeah, this is Bing's best move, and sort of a semi-smile on his face. They're not going to review this, but this was close.
It
Greg.
was.
It was awful close.
Here's the stretch now from Cade Bing. He'll step and throw again over to first. But that first throw that you mentioned was really, really close. And Rucker had to dive back to avoid being picked off. Draws a more modest lead from the bag now. Here comes the first pitch to Preston Newberry, and he'll take it upstairs for ball 1. So Bing had a really crisp second inning and really not a bad first inning. He did have the 2-out walk, but finished off the inning with a strikeout of Christian Enriquez. But then 3 straight, 1-2-3 in the second, but a walk and a single to open the UIW third. This pitch is lifted foul out of play. The count is even at a ball and a strike.
Well, he's got an advantage in the lefty-lefty matchup here. So the bullpen is starting to stir for Texas.
Bing looking in now. Here's the stretch from Cade in the 1-ball, 1-strike pitch to Preston Newberry. Swings here and hits this on a line to center, having a back pedal, and Robbins dropped the ball. It'll get a run in, and the runner going from first, Rucker, had to hold up, and he makes it to third. Newberry is at second. A run is home. UIW is on the board, and it's an 8-1 ball game.
Now the ball just took off. You're playing shallow, wind is blowing in, and this one was hit well. And Robbins went back, and he tried to reach up with his hand and catch it, but sometimes it stuns you. It's a slider that stayed in the middle of the dish, and it's hit pretty well. And right there, Robbins sort of left his left foot in the air and took his eye off of it, and it caught on the off of his heel of his glove instead of in the webbing. And
so now Newberry is at second base. Rutgers at third. Still nobody out, and Jake Weaver at the plate. He looks at the first pitch strike. Weaver flied to center his first time up. So UIW on the board. It is an 8-1 Texas lead with still nobody out. 2 in scoring position for the Cardinals. The pitch, check swing. It's low for a ball. And the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. A 1-1 the count. It has been scored an error off of Aiden Robbins' glove that allowed the run to score. There was an RBI out of this. This ball's hit on the ground. This will get a run home. Out to short, throw to first from Becerra's in time. A 6-3 ground out. And Newberry moves to third on the RBI ground out from Jake Weaver. That's out number 1. It's now an 8-2 ball game.
Taking advantage and doing a nice job right there. Infield was back. Put it on the ground. Get your team on the board.
So again, if you were scoring, Newberry reached on an error, and Jim Schlossnagle is going to make a call to the bullpen here coming up. There was an RBI on the play as there was a runner at third and would have scored had the ball been caught. So an RBI is awarded to Newberry, but he reached second on the error. And then after that, Rutgers scored on the play. That's an unearned run, but that's going to be all for Cade Bing. So we have a call to the bullpen here in the third inning with Texas leading UIW 8-2. Longhorn baseball continues in a moment. As Keith mentioned, the book not yet closed on Cade Bing. We'll give you his line once that book is closed. And Tony DeJesus, who drew a walk against Bing in the first, now in a righty-righty matchup going up against Hudson Hamilton. So it's an 8-2 ball game. And Preston Newberry, the runner at third base with 1 out. Shift is on for Texas. And that first pitch is a strike. And I say by shift again, as Keith pointed out earlier, kind of a modified shift where Mendoza, the second baseman, is swung to the shortstop side of the bag. And then deep in the hole at short is Becerra, and Borba guarding the line at third. 0-1 the count to Tony DeJesus. Pitch misses inside with a fastball. We'll update you on some non-conference baseball coming up in the bottom of the third. We can tell you right now they got an entertaining one going on down in Hays County tonight. Hamilton from that first base side of the rubber. Ball in the glove, turns away from the hitter, now ready out of the stretch. A glance toward third, and the 1-ball, 1-strike pitch, swing and a miss. Challenge him with a 93-mile-an-hour heater. Texas State and Texas A&M are playing tonight. Of course, the Longhorns will be in College Station on Friday, 3-game weekend series against the Aggies. Bobcats more than holding their own right now. They lead A&M 6-5. That's in the top of the fourth inning at Bobcat Ballpark. Here's the 1-ball, 2-strike pitch to DeJesus, and he fouls it back to the screen.
Like a lot of Tuesday games across the country, high-scoring affairs. And this one is going to be a high-scoring affair. Here, it's going to be a pretty high-scoring affair in San Marcos.
Aggies just missed on an attempt at a 3-run homer with 2 down in the fourth, so they're going to the bottom of the fourth there in San Marcos. Texas State with a 6-5 lead. Here's the 1-ball, 2-strike pitch to DeJesus. Takes low. Count is even at 2-2.
If I'm not mistaken, Georgia put up 28 or something.
They did. They did.
I mean, so there's Tuesday night games, you see a lot of scores.
There's a lot of offense.
Yeah.
2 balls, 2 strikes to count to Tony DeJesus. Hudson Hamilton, the stretch in the 2-2. High with a fastball, the count is full. So it's 3 balls and 2 strikes to DeJesus. This inning started with Tyler Garatano drawing a 4-pitch leadoff walk. Keith has pointed it out on several occasions. That leadoff walk can be quite harmful to the team in the field. Here's the 3-2 to DeJesus. And he takes strike 3 right at the top of the zone. DeJesus not liking the call of the home plate umpire, Mike Morris. Strikeout for Hudson Hamilton, and they're 2 down.
Well, it was right at the letters, but it definitely had part of the plate. Comes up with the strikeout.
So 2 down. And now Christian Enriquez, who struck out swinging against Cade Being back in the first at the plate. Runner at third, 2 down, 2 runs home. And the first pitch is up and in for a ball to Enriquez. Out of the stretch, Hudson Hamilton's pitch. Swung on, and that is hit toward the gap in right center, and that's going to fall in. It'll be an RBI extra base hit. It's going to roll all the way to the wall. Now, Enriquez will cruise into second base with a double. And it's now an 8-3 ball game.
Now fell behind, had to come with a fastball, and does a really nice job of just dropping the head. And this ball rifled into that gap right there. Ball hit like that, the breeze is not going to affect. Easily into the gap. You can close the book now on Being.
So now it's an 8-3 ball game. 2 down. Colin Cimbalista line to left to lead off last inning. A nice catch made by Anthony Pack. And again, the shift is on. They do shift more decisively now to the right-handed pull hitting Cimbalista, who takes a pitch for a strike. The stretch now. The pitch swung on and a fly ball hit to right. Backpedaling some few paces to Plantier, but he makes the catch. And that will retire UIW in the third inning. However, the Cardinals strike, and they score 3 runs in the inning on 2 hits with an error and a runner left on base. We go to the bottom of the third. It's now Texas 8, UIW 3. Longhorn baseball continues in a moment.
3 for UIW. We've had 7 hits in the game. Both teams have made a miscue. We go to the bottom of the third, and Due will be 9-1-2 for Texas here in the home half of the third inning. And Longhorns will try to get some of that back as 3 runs scored in the top of the inning by UIW.
Jaden Duplantier had a bunt base hit against Amir Encalada, the second of the now 3 UIW pitchers. First pitch to Jaden, misses downstairs for a ball. Encalada, the second pitcher, we mentioned that Matthew Foley, the Cedar Park grad, went an inning and allowed a hit and 2 runs, both earned 2 walks, a strikeout, a wild pitch, and threw 30 pitches. The pitch is low for ball 2. Encalada, 2/3 of an inning, allowed 1 hit, 5 runs, all earned, 3 walks, a strikeout, and a wild pitch. The pitch is taken for a strike by Duplantier. And he also hit a batter. He threw 23 pitches. He did all that in 23 pitches. So now Jose Bluda, who came on with 2 outs. There's a pitch for a strike. The count is even at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Two and 2. The 2-ball, 2-strike pitch is strike 3 called. Gumbo knew it. Takes strike 3 and heads back to the bench.
Yeah, you can almost tell he was looking for that overhand curveball and just got stunned with a heater on the inside corner that was right there for the strikeout.
So, 1 out. And back to the top of the order. Ethan Mendoza doubled and scored in the first and an RBI ground out in the second. First pitch to Mendoza is downstairs for a ball. One and 0 the count. And that pitch misses for a strike. By the way, for folks who are wondering, they said, wait a minute, Craig's calling him Jose Bluda. They have Josh Bluda on the scoreboard. The reason for that is 2 different rosters have come in. Pitches outside. One is their overall regular player roster, start to finish. And on that one, the young man is listed as Jose Bluda. On the game day roster that came up, here's the 2-1, and that is a strike call, 2 balls, 2 strikes. The one that comes in where you have the starting lineups listed, he's listed in the extra players down the left side as Josh.
Okay. I called him Josh. It's my fault.
It might not be. I might be incorrect. Who knows? It's out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count. So 2 and 2 the count to Mendoza.
I think we can get away with Jay.
There you go. Or just Bluda.
Yeah.
Bluda's ready right now. Here's a 2-ball, 2-strike pitch coming to Ethan Mendoza. And he tries to go the opposite way and lifts it foul out of play.
That's a pretty good fight off that time. That was that overhand curveball, and he takes so much off of it. It kept his hands back just enough to foul it off to live to see another pitch.
Two balls, 2 strikes to count to Ethan Mendoza. The 2-2. And again, he lifts one, foul out of play. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to count. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and it's down in the field turf. Okay, Keith, I've gone to the website.
Okay.
And he's listed as Jose Bluda.
There we're going to go. We're going to go with it.
Yeah, from Sealy. And the count is full now. So it's Jose Bluda, the right-hander, and the pitch. And Mendoza swings, lifts a high fly ball down the right field line, curving foul and out of play.
It's that time of the night right now where it's I mean, great lighting here at the Dish, but you're in that twilight a little bit. A guy's got to help each other right for the next 10 or 15 minutes.
3 balls, 2 strikes to count. Here's the payoff pitch, and that's downstairs for ball 4.
Good at bat.
Yeah. That's your classic leadoff guy at the top of the lineup at bat, isn't it?
Yeah, he did a really nice job. Fought off really 2 good breaking ball, and then tried to sneak 1 fastball by him. He was able to foul it off down the right field line and work a walk. That's just a good solid at bat right there.
So now Carson Tenney, who has drawn walks in each of his first 2 trips to the plate, comes to the plate now. And this first pitch is lifted foul out of play. Nothing in 1, the count. Throw over to first. Mendoza's back. Ethan has 1 stolen base tonight, so he's 7 for 7 for the season. Pitch misses downstairs.
He's been able to mix his breaking ball and his fastball together. Longhorns haven't been able to get on balance against him yet.
A 1 ball, 1 strike pitch to Carson Tenney. Takes low for ball 2, and it's 2-1.
Activity, UIW bullpen.
Kept somebody loose pretty much every inning.
Yeah, sure have.
Shift on, modified toward the left side of the infield. The pitch to Tenney. He bounces away, dancing off first. A throw back to the bag, but scrambling back was Mendoza.
Good anticipation to try to get to the into scoring position, then read it well enough to know, hey, I got to get back, and got back easily.
So now it's 3 balls and a strike. Here's the 3-1. And that's strike 2 called at the knees. Warming up in the pen for the Cardinals is redshirt freshman right-hander Rand Green, who is warming up now. Three and 2 the count. Throw over to first.
That's a nice pick right there, because that ball almost got away.
Three balls, 2 strikes the count.
Mendoza should be off with the pitch here.
Healthy lead from the bag. The stretch from Bluda. He is going. The pitch swung on. Hard hit ball off the glove of the shortstop Tabor. Mendoza never stopped. Goes sliding into third. He'll be there. A solidly struck ball by Carson Tenney for a base hit. And there are runners on the corners with 1 out.
Well, I would give it a base hit. We'll see what the that was going to be an incredible play if he made the pick. It was a rocket right at him. Good base running by Mendoza. Saw the ricochet sort of off of the glove and realized he was going to have to go, but was able to move up to get the third.
Well, we may have another call to the bullpen now. There's a meeting on the mound. And we'll see where we are then. No official call yet to the pen. The home plate umpire, Mike Morris, will head out to accelerate the conversation. And for the moment, Jose Bluda will remain the pitcher for UIW.
It's got to be a base. I'm just going to give him a base hit because
Yeah.
he came off the bat at 116 miles an hour. I would think
Yeah.
if you hit a ball that hard, you should get a hit.
Well, yeah, I would say
But I'm
so.
an old hitter. I always think everything's a hit.
Well, it has been scored a base hit, so there. Yeah. You're right, 116 miles per hour on that. So, now Aiden Robbins at the plate. And there's ball one to Aiden. And Aiden, I'm sure he feels like he's due. He struck out swinging twice. Runners on the corners with one out. The pitch. Down and in. 2 balls, no strikes to count to Robbins. So 2-0 the count. The pitch is big. Swing and a miss there.
And they got the curveball, and it was up a little bit, just a little bit out in front of it.
Two balls and a strike to count Aiden Robbins. Runners on the corners, one out. Bottom of the third with Texas leading UIW 8-3. The stretch from Bluta. He'll throw back over to first, and dancing off the bag at third was
Well, he stole
Mendoza.
3 bases now. He's a base stealer, so they're going to throw over.
Yeah. Career high. 2-1 the count to Aiden Robbins. The stretch from Bluta. Here's the 2-ball, 1-strike pitch. Bounces in the field turf. Off from first is Tinney. He'll take second on a wild pitch there. And now 2 in scoring position. Some aggressive base running there by Tinney.
Yeah, I mean, Longhorns have pushed the envelope so far. It'd be interesting. UIW, do they bring the infield up? The only person that comes up is at first.
3 balls and a strike to count to Aiden Robbins. Bluta with the 3-1. And that's low ball 4. It'll load the bases. So Bluta issues the walk. And now Anthony Pack Jr., who drew a walk last inning and scored a run, comes to the plate. And again, an opportunity for the Longhorns to have a big inning.
Well, they'll play for 2 in the middle. Corners are up. They would probably come to the plate here.
Here's the first pitch to Pack. Misses inside for ball 1. One and 0 the count to Anthony Pack Jr. with the bases loaded here. The pitch. Swung on, that's lined into center for a base hit. That'll get 2 runs home, and the ball went off the glove of the center fielder Rucker. Rounding third, coming home to score all the way in after that. Not stopping was Aiden Robbins. 2-run score on the base hit, a third on an error. That's the second consecutive inning that's happened. And the Longhorns add to the lead now. They now lead it 11-3.
Well, I think Aiden ran through the stop sign, but he didn't raise his head in time, and Coach K was trying to get out of the way and not getting his way to keep him from scoring because he was almost made contact with him.
You're right. I mean, Nolan Kane was right there with him, and he had the stop sign up, and Aiden had his head down and didn't see it at first, but he had such a big jump, and when the ball skipped off the glove of the center fielder Rucker, he was coming all the way in to score. So that'll go as an RBI double to score a couple of runs. Pack has driven in 3 runs. He stands at second base. It's an 11-3 Texas lead, and still only 1 out here in the bottom of the third. And now Borba at the plate. He drove in 2 runs with a double last inning and has also walked and scored a run. First pitch misses downstairs for a ball.
It shows you that you just got to throw strikes to have any opportunity to win a ball game. 3 passes just kill you.
No doubt. By the way, it was a 2 RBI single, not double, and the error allowed Pack to reach second, as well as Robbins to score on the play. pitch misses for a ball. And it's 2 balls and no strikes to Borba. So the error by the center fielder Rucker allowed a runner to score and allowed Pack to move to second base. A throw back behind him, and that was kind of a lollipop throw there. In fact, a balk has been called, I think.
Yeah, you got to make it all in your.
It's either
it's a delay of the pitch clock. It'll cost a
ball.
Ball.
Yep, and that should make the count 3-0. Or did they call the delay?
It's.
And Jim Schlossnagle was coming out for an explanation, saying, "Wait a minute, who are you calling the
3-0.
delay?"
It's the scoreboard totals.
For the moment, were incorrect. They're correct now. 3-0. So the delay charges a ball to Jose Bluda. Now it's 3-0 to Borba. And he takes all the way and takes ball 4. And that's going to be all for Bluda. So Bluda's night is done after a walk to Casey Borba. And we have another call to the bullpen. Here in the bottom of the third, Texas, crooked numbers all over the place. 2 in the first, 6 in the second, 3 home with 1 out, still batting here in the third. It's 11-3 Longhorns, and Longhorn baseball continues in a moment.
Bullpen ran green, as Craig told you, coming into the game. 6'1", 185 redshirt freshman from Weatherford, Texas, Weatherford Christian High School. For Green, he's making his 9th appearance, no record, 6.75 ERA. He's pitched 9 1/3, allowed 12 hits, 7 runs, all 7 earned. He's walked 4, while striking out 6. He surrendered 4 extra base hits, including a homer. And he has also hit 5 batters. So he comes on here. Longhorns have scored in every frame, and they put a crooked number up, folks, in every frame. 2 in the first, 6 in the second, 3 here in the third, and still just 1 out with a couple on. 11-3 ball game. UIW came back with a 3 spot of their own in the top of the third. 3 runs on 2 hits, 2 miscues for UIW. 11 runs, 7 hits, 1 miscue for Texas.
Book not yet closed on Jose Bluda, but it's got a lot of crooked numbers in it as well, and we'll update that for you when that book becomes closed. Meanwhile, Temo Becerra comes to the plate. Becerra has flied to right and had an infield single. Bounced off the glove of Tabor. So Temo at the plate now. Ran good. Well, I think they stopped before Green started to go into his motion. Clint Fagan's the crew chief, the second base umpire, and he's trying to get everybody organized, starting the pitch clock over again. The clock had gotten started a little bit ahead, so he says, let's reset. All right, so now everybody ready. And here's Becerra. And the pitch misses off the plate for a ball. For the moment, it's 11 runs on 7 hits and 1 error. For the Longhorns, 3 runs, 2 hits, 2 errors for UIW. There's a ball lined in the left field by Becerra for a base hit. Rounding third and racing for the plate is Pack. He'll score. RBI single from Temo Becerra, and it's now 12-3 Texas.
Well, did a nice job. It worked and took the breaking ball away, got a ball up in the zone, and put a good swing on it. Just took advantage of it being ahead in the count, which the Longhorns have been done very well in this ball game.
Ashton Larson had 2 plate appearances last inning. Led off the inning with a walk, scored a run, came up later and dropped a perfect bunt single to drive in a run as well. From the left side is Larson, and the first pitch is off the plate for a ball. So 1-0 the count. Here's the stretch now from the right-hander, Rand Green, the 1-0. And that's lifted foul into the screen. Out of play. One ball and 1 strike the count. The stretch now. The pitch off the plate for ball 2. So 2 balls and a strike the count. Two balls and a strike to count to Ashton Larson. And the 2-1 off the plate, ball 3. You mentioned Georgia's win over Presbyterian earlier. You know, normally when you're talking about a team on the winning side, when you say they got half the runs in 1 inning, that's a good thing. In the case of Georgia, it kind of is more than a good thing. 3-1 pitch is low, ball 4, and that's going to load the bases as Larson will take first base. You see, Georgia scored 28 runs. They scored 14 in the bottom of the second.
Oh, wow.
9 in the third. 4 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth. So obviously on the run rule, it was done in 6.5 innings. 28 runs on 19 hits for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Foley Field's a great place to hit.
He won 28-3. Here's Andrew Ermis. He's been hit by a pitch and scored and struck out swinging, both in the second inning.
That sounds like a Kirby Smart score.
Well, it does. The first pitch is low. I would say to you this. 1-0 the count. If you live in Georgia, here's the stretch. And that pitch is up high. And you root for a team that wears red and black that's not the Georgia Bulldogs. 28-3 is an unkind number. You see, that was the score that the Atlanta Falcons led the New England Patriots by with 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. It was 28-3.
Yeah.
Patriots ended up winning that one in overtime. So 28-3 was the final for Georgia today. That pitch almost hit Ermis, missed inside, and it's 3-0.
I don't think Presbyterian had Tom Brady playing for him.
No. The Blue Hose is the team name. Name like the Pale Hose, nickname for the White Sox. Hosiery, as in stockings, as in socks. The 3-0 is there for a strike. It's 3-1 from Clinton, South Carolina Presbyterian. They are a Division I program.
And at times have been really good.
Yep.
We've seen them in the postseason, put it that way.
Yeah, it's it just didn't go well for them today. The 3-1, and that hit him. And that's going to get a run home. That did not feel good, but Ermis will take first base, and he'll be credited with an RBI. Being hit by a pitch with the bases loaded. Still only 1 out. Trotting in to score from third is Casey Borba. And again, conversation on the mound.
They may make another move to the bullpen.
Tough go on that. Borba scoring. Becerra's at third base. Larson is at second. Irma's credited with the RBI, hit by a pitch. And we will have another call to the bullpen here in the bottom of the third. Texas leading UIW 13-3. Longhorn baseball continues in a moment.
Again, this time it is Hayden Capers. He is a 6'3", 200-pound sophomore from right here in Leander, Texas. For Capers on the year, he is making his 9th appearance. He has started 7 ball games, 1-1 record, 9.20 earned run average, 29 in the third innings of work, allowed 37 hits, 30 runs, all 30 earned. He has walked 16 while striking out 19. He has surrendered 14 extra base hits, including 7 homers. He's thrown a wild pitch, and he's hit 3 batters, and he comes on to face Duplantier here, Craig, with them loaded and still just 1 out in the frame.
Yeah, and the Longhorns adding to the total here, now up by 10 runs at 13-3. And Jaden Duplantier at the plate, looks to the first pitch downstairs for a ball. 13 runs on a total of 8 hits, 1 error, 2 runs, 3 runs, 2 hits, and 2 errors for UIW. Stretch from Capers. The pitch swung on and lifted down the right field line, chasing it Newberry toward the line in foul territory, can't get it. Landed right up against the retaining wall there. Other scores involving the SEC tonight. In the Battle of the Bluegrass State, Kentucky leads Louisville 4-1 in the top of the ninth. Kentucky is 6-6 in the SEC. And they had to be disappointed coming off a weekend series against Missouri, which, like South Carolina, went into the weekend with only 1 conference win. But whereas South Carolina garnered just 1 win on its own home field, went 1-2 against Texas, Missouri went to Kentucky and took 2 out of 3.
Well, they're a better team than we saw in 2025.
Pitch misses downstairs for a ball. Coach Jackson's kind of rebuilding it there. Overall, Mizzou is 19-14. But Kentucky bouncing back against their in-state rival, Louisville, and they lead 4-1 top of the ninth there in Lexington at Kentucky Proud Park as that pitch is lifted foul by Duplantier back out of play. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tennessee, which had to be heartbroken, had LSU all but beaten.
Yep.
Ended up losing in extra innings. They gave up 10 in the 12th on Sunday, lost 16-6 when they were up in that one late. 2-2 pitch. Check swing. It's low. Count is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And the Volunteers win tonight at home over the Norse of Northern Kentucky, 12-6. South Carolina coming off, dropping 2 or 3 to Texas, hosting the College of Charleston tonight. And the Cougars lead the Gamecocks 4-2. Top of the 7th at Founders Park. That pitch foul back. Mississippi State came off sweeping Ole Miss, then being swept by Georgia. They fell to number 9 in the poll from number 4. Bulldogs lead UAB 4-3 as they go to the top of the 7th in Starkville. 3 balls and 2 strikes to count to Jaden Duplantier. Base is loaded, and the pitch is low. Ball 4. It's going to bring in another run. Trotting in from third to score is Temo Becerra. Ashton Larson moves to third. Andrew Ermis to second. Duplantier credited with an RBI. And Longhorns have batted around for the second straight inning.
4th at bat in the ball game for Mendoza here in the bottom of the 4th.
So he gets ready, and the first pitch misses. Bottom of the 3rd.
That's right.
4 trips to the plate. He has a double, an RBI ground out. Started off this inning with a walk. And actually, he was the second man. Duplantier struck out looking to open the inning. Now Jaden able to reach base. That pitch is taken for a strike. Auburn ranked 15th. Hard to figure out the Tigers. Looking really good at sometimes not so much. They're down 7-0 to Jacksonville State.
Who's a good program, by the way. That's a good team.
In Conference USA. Here's a pitch hit on the ground to short. A flip to second for 1. A relay to first in time. A 6-4-3 double play will end the inning here. But the Longhorns in the inning, they scored 6 in the second, and they score 6 more in the third, and they do it on 4 hits, and they will leave 2 on base. We go to the 4th inning, and Texas leading by a score of 14-3. Longhorn baseball continues in a moment.
Half hour, but Hudson Hamilton back to the mound here. You saw him jog a little bit, try to get loose, try to get his arm ready to go and get back out here. Now he has been staked to a 14-3 lead as we go to the top of the 4th. 3 runs, 2 hits, 2 errors for UIW. 14 runs, 8 hits, 1 miscue for Texas. Coming to the plate will be 6, 7, and 8 for UIW.
Hamilton ready to go to work. And the first pitch to Cole Tabor is taken for a strike. Tabor flied to center his first time up. Hamilton set. Hudson's pitch. Misses for a ball. The count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Hudson ready, out of the stretch. The 1-1 delivery to Cole Tabor. Swing, and that knocked the mask off the home plate umpire, Mike Morris.
He took a direct blow on that foul tip, and it stuns you and knocks you backward. Mike looks like he's all right. He's been around, been behind the plate quite a few times, but this is a direct blow. It caught him on the side, and It's one of those where it's like getting punched, folks. I mean, it's a mask, yes, and it's got padding all around it, but
there's a concussion involved
yes,
with that,
is.
the compression of that hit. 1-2 pitches down and in for a ball.
The unexpected is what's so good. You just don't see it's coming.
Yeah.
Because it happens, it's blink of an eye.
2 balls, 2 strikes, the count of Cole Tabor. 2-2 pitch. Off the plate. Count is full. So 3-2. As you like to say, when Hermes went out to the mound to buy a little time for Mike Morris, when he tossed the ball out to Hamilton. 3-2 pitch, swing and a miss and a strikeout. Hudson picks up the strikeout for out number 1. As you like to say, a little professional courtesy.
Yeah, no doubt. Catchers have had it happen to them, and what you do in that, you're just giving him a little time, let him gather his senses a little bit.
So 1 down. Hudson Hamilton with his 2nd strikeout. And here's Drake Anderson at the plate. Looks the first pitch fastball off the plate. Anderson flied to left his first time up. Here's the stretch in the pitch, and that's in there for a strike. Cade Bing started for Texas, went 2 1/3, allowed 1 hit, 3 runs. Only 1 of those was earned. 2 walks, a strikeout, and he threw 41 pitches, did Bing. Here's the 1-1 Anderson. Takes that one for ball 2. And we were told this was a designated start for Bing, so leaving with the lead, Cade would be in line to pick up the win. Assuming the Longhorns maintain an 11-run lead right now, up 14-3. Pitch swung on, hit to dead center, backpedaling a few paces, and now trotting a little over toward right is Robbins, as the breeze kind of drifts the ball a little bit to right center, and they're 2 down.
Nice job of coming back out, attacking the zone, and getting the first couple outs. That doesn't mean you're going to have a real simple inning, but it's a good start to coming out and just attack the strike zone.
2 down. Tyler Garatano drew a leadoff 4-pitch walk against Bing last inning, which seemed like 2 hours ago, and ended up scoring the first of the 3 runs.
It's only 1 hour and 40.
Takes the first pitch. Gee, thanks. For a ball. Here's the pitch.
Oh,
that one's in there for a strike. Well, if things continue along this path, the game will be over after 7 innings. So maybe it'll be close to a 3-hour game at that point.
Yeah. Strikes, it's
yeah.
what's,
it's all about it.
Yeah.
1 ball, 1 strike, the count to Tyler Garatano. Here's the pitch. Swings here and lines it into left center, a base hit. Garatano has a walk and a single.
Good approach. And this type of game, you should be getting more fastballs, and that's your job on the mound, too, is to attack the zone and see what happens. The best at bat we've seen is for this young man here, his last time up.
Yeah, Trent Rucker. Solid single center, came around to score on the shot off the bat of Preston Newberry on the error. First pitch misses for a ball. Texas A&M has gone in front of Texas State now, 7-6, and the Bobcats are batting in the bottom of the 6th inning in Bobcat Ballpark. A stretch from Hamilton. The 1-0 to Rucker. Takes outside.
That hasn't been a fast one either. That game started at 6.
I start to say, think about that for a minute. Something else. They're getting some rain in Hays County right now. They're getting some rain at the ballpark there. 2 balls, no strikes again. We've been fortunate, haven't had anything to this point here, and that's low for ball 3. That game started 30 minutes before this one.
Did.
30 minutes before, and it's 2 innings ahead, and they've had 13 combined runs scored. This one started 30 minutes later, and That's 2 innings behind, and they've had 17 combined runs. A couple of, like you said, slow-moving games. That pitch is taken for a strike by Rucker on a 91-mile-an-hour fastball from Hudson Hamilton, and it's 3 balls and a strike with 2 down. 3-1 the count. Hamilton ready. The 3-1 pitch. Fouled straight back. Count is full. Arkansas, which I know has been a mystery to you, Keith.
Boy, it's just...
They're down to number 22 in the poll. They were number 3 at one point early. They come off losing a series over the weekend. They're playing Little Rock at home, and the Razorbacks are up 6-0 in the top of the 7th, but it's been difficult to figure out that Arkansas team. 3 balls, 2 strikes to count. Swing and a miss. And Hamilton picks up his 3rd strikeout of the ball game, and that will retire UIW in the 4th. No runs on a hit and a man left. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning here with the score Texas 14, the University of the Incarnate Word 3. Longhorn baseball continues in a moment.
Start his first official inning. He came on to get the 6-4-3 double play that ended the 6-run 3rd. So he'll be facing the 2, 3, and 4 spots, 2 for Texas here. Scoreboard total's correct. 3 runs, 3 hits, 2 errors for UIW. 14 runs, 8 hits, 1 miscue for Texas as we play in the home half of the 4th.
And we can now update you on those pitching lines since some of those have finally been logged out as Carson Tenney leads it off for Texas. Here in the bottom of the 4th against Aiden Capers. Looks at a pitch for a ball, a fastball. So we mentioned the starter, Matthew Foley from Cedar Park, went 1 inning, allowed 1 hit, 2 runs, both earned 2 walks, a strikeout, a wild pitch. He threw 30 pitches. He's in line to take the loss in this one. Pitch off the plate for ball 2. Amir Encalada, in 2/3 of an inning, allowed 1 hit, 5 runs, all earned, 3 walks, 1 strikeout, 1 wild pitch, 1 hit batter. He threw 23 pitches. 2-0 the count. And this ball is smoked out to dead left center. And you can say goodnight to it. Carson Tenney drives another one out, long distance. Tenney picks up his 11th home run of the season, and the Longhorns now lead it 15-3.
Well, we talked about him swinging the bat really well right now, and you can see him get more comfortable. He's getting the ball deep. He's got tremendous powers in all directions. This one, 431 foot, 113 miles an hour off of the bat. It's the second ball above 110 in this ball game. And out of here.
Boy, he did crush it. Or his team leading 12th home run, or rather 11th home run to tie Aiden Robbins for the team lead in that department. And Robbins looks at a pitch for a strike. Aiden struck out swinging twice, walked, and scored a run. Capers, the stretch, and the pitch bounces in the field turf away. count is 1 ball and 1 strike. 431 feet. It went right past the Yeti yard to the left side of the wall.
I think it went into the camera well. That's just
Is that where it was? I just saw it disappear on the left side. So pitch bounces in the field.
New batter's eye here at the dish, and when they did, they moved the camera and moved it over to get more center and got a hole that doesn't affect the hitter. The hitter never notices it, and it looks like it went in that camera well right there. I'm not sure it did, but it sure. The ball never came back into the field of play.
Yeah. 2 balls and a strike the count. Robbins swings and he launches one. This one out to deep right, but it'll stay in the ballpark for the right fielder, Newberry, to make the catch for out number 1.
I like seeing Aiden go in that direction, though. When he's getting right, getting his swing back together, he uses the whole field.
And that was his 4th home run in his last 10 at-bats in his last 3 ball games. For Tenney, he's really starting to feel it now. So Robbins flies to right. Anthony Pack Jr.'s had a busy night. Looks at the first pitch for a strike at the knees. He has driven in a run on an RBI ground out, walked and scored, driven in a couple of runs on a base hit, and scored a second run. 0-1 the count to Pack, the pitch. And he lifts that foul out of play. We were giving you the pitching lines. Jose Bluda in 2/3 of an inning allowed 5 hits, 6 runs, 5 earned, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, 1 wild pitch. He threw 46 pitches. Ran green, faced 3 batters, allowed a hit and a run that was earned with a walk, no strikeouts, hit a batter through 13 pitches. Now Capers has given up a run on the home run, and that pitch skips in the field serve and almost caught Pack.
Well, the interesting thing, I'm getting to know this young man, Anthony Pack, and he's upset that he didn't stay in there and get hit with that pitch to get first base. That's what his reaction was. He said, I can't believe I didn't take the base. He's all about getting on base.
A ball and 2 strikes the count. 1-2 fastball up and away for a ball. So 2 balls, 2 strikes the count. And that one missed inside for ball 3. 3-2. So the count full. And swing and a miss as Pack strikes out, and they're 2 down.
Yeah, might have went outside the zone that time. Chase one that's up.
So now, with 2 down, here's Borba, who has walked, doubled in a couple of runs and scored, and then walked and scored. First pitch is a strike.
Big hack. Casey was not leaving anything at home plate that time.
0-1 the count. The stretch from Capers, the right-hander, in the pitch. Outside for a ball. By the way, they are endeavoring to find out exactly where that ball landed, because there was some speculation. Some folks thought it might have cleared the monster. And so they're going to try to see if they can get a replay angle to see if it did land in that camera slot that you're talking about, which is about 15 feet up the wall, and that pitch misses for a ball. I thought on my first glance that it went right over the head, only because of the reaction of the guys in the Yeti yard right before, that it sailed right in that slot between the flagpole and the wall. But you may be right. It may have gone in the slot. I'm going to try to get a look and get. And this pitch is pop, foul, out of play. And you say, well, what's the big deal? It's a home run either way. Because if it did clear the center field wall, it falls into the category of a monster shot. And they do keep track of such things.
They do keep track of such things.
So Josh White, who handles it all so expertly, the categorizing and the cataloging of the numbers and the things of that nature, is trying to find out. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count of Casey Borba with 2 down. Here's the pitch. He swings and lifts a high fly ball to shallow left. Coming on Weaver, man, he calls off the shortstop Tabor at the last moment to make the catch. And that'll retire Texas in the 5th. The Longhorns don't score a crooked number for the first time in the ball game, but they do score. We'll have a new pitcher coming in for Texas when we come back. Longhorns get a run on the hit, the leadoff homer by Tenney, and nobody left. We now move forward with Texas leading by a score of 15-3, and Longhorn baseball continues in a moment.
The 5th, some changes for Texas into the game as Madison Mansour in right field. Duplantier will move from right field to left field. Aiden Robbins out of the game, and in to pitch for Texas is the left-hander Ethan Walker. Walter State, Ashburn, Virginia native, 6 foot 200-pound redshirt junior. For Walker, he is making his 13th appearance. That leads the club for Texas. 1-1 record, 1.93 earned run average. He's pitched 9 1/3 innings, allowed 12 hits, 4 runs, only 2 of those earned. He's walked 2, struck out 9, surrendered 3 extra base hits, all doubles. And he's also thrown 1 wild pitch as he comes into the game, where he'll be facing the top of the order here in the 5th.
Hudson Hamilton win an inning in 2/3, and the first pitch is a strike from Walker to Preston Newberry, as the Longhorns put a heavy shift on against the left-handed hitting Newberry. Lefty-lefty matchup. Walker slings one off the plate for a ball. The count is even at 1 ball, 1 strike. Hamilton, an inning in 2/3, allowed 2 hits, no runs, no walks, struck out 3, and he threw 30 pitches. So Walker working to Newberry, and a pitch misses downstairs, and it's 2 balls and a strike to Preston Newberry, who has driven in a run and reached second base all in the same swing of the bat on an error on a ball that went off the glove of Aiden Robbins. Runner on third. There were runners on second and third, and runner in third would have scored on the sac fly, and so he's credited with the RBI, but the error allowed him to reach second base. Count is 3 balls and a strike now to Newberry. The 3-1. Hits it on the ground to second, right to the shifted second baseman, and a nice throw over for out number 1. Nice job there by Mendoza, playing in that shallow right field to play it. And there's 1 down.
And Walker, nice pitch to come back after falling behind 3-1.
So with 1 out, Jake Weaver at the plate. He's driven in the run on an RBI ground out. He's also flied to center. Another lefty-lefty matchup here. And the first pitch upstairs for a ball. pitch swung on. This is popped up, backpedaling behind third in position to make the play is Borba, who makes the catch, and they're 2 down.
Did a nice job. Got enough depth early. And absolutely now, no breeze here in the ballpark. So everything's going to be pretty true. And a couple of quick outs by Walker.
So, with 2 down, Tony DeJesus, who has walked and struck out looking, comes to the plate. Walker running, first pitch. Bends in there for a strike. DeJesus back in from the right side. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, and just way out in front of that one.
It's that big sweeping breaking ball that Walker has. Starts it off in the left-hander's batter's box and brings it back to the strike zone.
No balls, 2 strikes the count. Ethan Walker ready in the pitch. That one just upstairs for a ball, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Walker settles back in now. DeJesus in the box. The pitch. Hit in the air down the right field line. This one curving foul out of play. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to count. And the pitch. Swung on, and that's hit well down the left field line. That's going to fall in for extra bases. Up with it, Duplantier. Throw will come in, but that's a 2-out double from Tony DeJesus.
Stayed back, did a nice job right there hitting. And it was out in front of a breaking ball. It's got deep enough count and then got something up. He could put a really good swing on it. Just rifled that ball to left. No chance for Pack to get to it.
99 miles per hour. So now Christian Enriquez to the plate. He's driven in a run with a double. Takes a pitch for a strike. It's 1 out of 2 strikeout swinging against Cade Bing to close out the top of the first. Lashed into the screen for a foul, and quickly Walker ahead of him. No balls, 2 strikes.
This is when you start this ball out for Walker, a breaking ball, and started it in the middle of the plate and break it off the zone and see if you can get an aggressive hitter to swing.
And the pitch.
Well, he did. That was it.
Yeah, he didn't chase it, and the target was set up just off the plate.
It was the perfect delivery. He just didn't get a chase. Fish weren't biting.
A ball and 2 strikes the count. And a pitch foul back. One and 2 the count to Christian Enriquez. The pitch from Walker. And again, fouled. Past the third base coach, bouncing around down off the retaining wall. Retrieved by Anthony Pack Jr., who will flip it to the fans. And you knew that was going to happen. Youngster dropped the ball, and Pack has to go back and get it a second time. Can you hold it this time?
He did it. Always was told, if you're going to flip it to fans, make sure you get it 4 or 5 rows back where it doesn't come back.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The 1-2 swung on. That's going to be lined in a shallow left. It'll fall in for a base hit. Duplantier up with it, but it's going to be an RBI single as Enriquez has his second hit of the ball game, an RBI single. DeJesus scores from second, and now it's a 15-4 ball game.
Well, that's just a really good job of hitting. I mean, he saw an awful lot of good pitches, fought off everything he could do, and then at the last one just got enough of it to muscle that in to drive in a run, and we're going to have a pinch runner.
Pinch runner for UIW will be Kevin Ramos. He's a junior from Phoenix, Arizona. So he'll come in to run for Enriquez. So now here's Cymbalista at the plate. Run home, runner at first, 2 down. Here in the top of the 5th. Throw over to first. Of course, Ethan has a good throw over to first. A stretch now, and the pitch from Walker. And that's hit, fair, knocked down by Borba. Sets his feet, guns to throw to first in time. What a play by Casey Borba, robbing Colin Cymbalista of extra bases with a diving grab right on the third base line. A rocket throw to first, and the inning is over. UIW settles for a run on 2 hits with a man left. Hopefully we're not halfway through the game at this point, but we will go to the bottom of the 5th. Texas leading 15-4, and Longhorn baseball continues in a moment. Can you pull that one?
Bottom of the 5th, Texas leads by 11, 15-4. 4 runs, 5 hits, 2 miscues for UIW. 15 runs, 9 hits, 1 miscue for Texas. It will be 6, 7, and 8 scheduled for the Longhorns.
Leading it off, Temo Becerra looks at a pitch for a strike. Temo was flied to right, driven in a run on an infield single, driven in another run on a base hit, and scored a run. Becerra has that batting average back above the 300 mark. Came in at 297. It's back up to 307 now. Swings here off the end of the bat. A 3-hopper to second. Anderson throws to first for out number 1. Longhorns have scored in every at bat. 2 in the first, 6 in the second, 6 in the third, and 1 in the fourth on the leadoff homer by Tenney. Ashton Larson has walked and scored and bunted home a base hit with an RBI. Both of those plate appearances happened in the 6-run second, and then he walked in the third. First pitch whistles inside for a ball. Texas A&M still up on Texas State 7-6 in the 7th, and it's still raining there in San Marcos. They're playing through it, at least right now anyway. Swung on, that ball yanked, but foul down the right field line.
I would think Texas would probably use another pitcher in the top of the 6th, just to get guys work, get their inning of work in.
The 1-ball, 1-strike pitch is low. No, called a strike. Late call. Came out of the glove of the catcher Cymbalista after it was called a strike. 1-2 in the count. And Jim Schlossnagle mentioned in the pregame, he said several guys need to get some work, and we've seen some of those that he mentioned. Here's the 1-2 to Larson, and he hits a ground ball to the right side, up with it the second baseman Anderson, flipped to first in time, and they're 2 down. Jason Forrest was another guy he mentioned that he might want to get out there, and a couple other guys possibly as well. As Andrew Ermis comes to the plate, he's been hit by a pitch and scored on a wild pitch back in the second. Also in the second, he struck out swinging, and then he was hit by a pitch and credited with an RBI in the fourth. So officially 0 for 1 and hit by a pitch twice. The pitch is in there for a strike. Nothing in 1 the count, with 2 down. Here's the 0-1. That one bends in for a strike, 0-2. It's gone final in Lexington, Kentucky with the win over Louisville, 4-2. Tennessee beat Northern Kentucky, 12-6. We mentioned Georgia winning 28-3 over Presbyterian. The 0-2, up and in for a ball. Jacksonville State now up 11-4 on Auburn, top of the 7th at Plainsman Park. 1 ball, 2 strike pitch to Ermis. And he swings and fists one into shallow left center for a base hit. Well, you talk about sawing one off, and that just came right to near the bat handle, and he muscled it into left center for a 2-out single.
Good old aluminum bats. Professional ball, he's holding a handle there. You're exactly what happened to him. It's just strong enough. Got to give him credit. You get the barrel on it. I mean, not the barrel, but you get the bat on it, and just strong enough to muscle it over the shortstop. Goes in the paper as a single.
Jaden Duplantier at the plate now. He has a bump base hit and a run scored, and drew a walk with the bases loaded to bring home a run. First pitch is a ball to Gumbo. 1-0 the count to Jaden. He swings here and pops it sky high, left side of the infield. The shortstop, Cole Tabor, waves everybody off, says he has it, he does. And for the first time tonight, the Longhorns do not score in an inning. No runs on a hit and a man left. We're through 5 complete at UFC Disch-Falk Field. It is Texas 15, UIW 4. Longhorn baseball continues in a moment.
Number 38, Max Grubbs.
Team is the Arlington Martin grad from Arlington, Texas. The 6'1", 200-pound senior Max Grubbs is into the game. We thought we might see him tonight as he's working. He needed to work as his head coach talked about it. So Max into the game, making his 13th appearance. That ties him with Ethan Walker for the most in the club. He has started a game. 2-0 record, 4.32 earned run average, 18 and 2/3 innings of work. Allowed 19 hits, 11 runs, 9 of those earned. He's walked 9 while striking out 19. He surrendered 6 extra base hits, including 2 homers. He's thrown 2 wild pitches, and he's hit a batter. So he comes in here, and he will pitch the top of the 6 and face the 6, 7, and 8 hitters. An update from San Marcos, if I'm not mistaken. Texas State has just put a 3 spot on the board and lead the Aggies 9-7.
A bases clearing double for the Bobcats. And they're still batting in the bottom of the 7th inning. Texas State up 9-7. We talked about what a big RPI game that is for both teams.
Yeah, it is.
Texas A&M went into today number 18 in the RPI. Texas State number 38. So you say, well, it'd be really big for Texas State. Yes, it would be to beat the number 18 team in the RPI.
They're going to get a bump in the RPI more than likely, regardless what comes out of it.
That's right. And a win would be really big off of that because they're going to be chasing Coastal Carolina the rest of the season.
Yep.
They're down 4 games in the standings. I don't know if they catch the Chanticleers as Cole Tabor leads it off and swings to the first pitch and fouls it off. But that doesn't mean they can't be an at-large as well or win the conference tournament in their final year in the Sun Belt before they move to the Pac-12. And for Texas A&M, it's a road game at a team with a good RPI, a 38 RPI. So that's a nice bump for the Aggies, win or lose.
You're coming back about the right time when I start really looking and paying attention to RPI, start looking at some projections. This next week we will see projections out.
Oh, I saw one last week. D1 gets out there early, but there are usually 3 or 4 that start right around the midway mark, to your point, and we'll start seeing those. The most recent one on D1 baseball had Texas as the number 2 national seed at home, matching up with, you'll think this will interest you, pitch to Tabor, he swings and pulls it foul. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Matching up with a 15 seed, which they have as Coastal Carolina.
Wow.
Right now. Coastal's really responded since we saw them last month.
They got one of their pitch. One of them they may not get all back, but they got their Saturday guy back.
Yeah. Got their number 2 starter back in the saddle. The 2-2 pitch to Tabor. Checked his swing. It's strike 3. Grubbs opens the top of the 6th with a strikeout of Cole Tabor.
He did a nice job. He set him up with a breaking ball and then really good fastball right at the knees. Gets the strikeout.
So 1 down. And now Drake Anderson, who flied to left and flied to center to the plate. Longhorns shift the infield over to the left side. First pitch is hit down the right field line. It's going to be trouble if it stays fair, and that is a foul ball. Just barely.
I'm talking about inches.
That was really close.
You may have a better angle. At my angle, it looked like he was right on the line, but
well, I think you're right. It was right at it.
You know,
very, very close.
A little bit of wind pushing in from center might have helped that fade just enough to get it out of the field of play.
So 0-1 the count. So as I was mentioning, they have Texas listed as the number 2 national seed, and the number 15 national seed being Coastal Carolina. Here's the 0-1 to Anderson. Takes a strike. It's 0-2. And so those two would match up. You want to know who the number 2 seed is they have projected to come here?
TCU?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's the 0-2. And that caught a piece of the home plate umpire, Mike Morris.
Mike's had a full night tonight.
Yeah, no doubt.
He got it in the mask, and this was in the foot. They do wear steel-toed shoes. Somebody asked me that earlier this year, and I said, yeah, they have a shin guard, but they also, umpires are not, they don't have to move as much as a player, so a lot of them wear a steel-toed boot.
1 ball and 2 strikes to count to Drake Anderson. Here's the 1-2. And he lifts that foul out of play. Some umpires, I know they do this at the major league level, wear a pad on the top of the foot, right over the top of the toes. They'll do that underneath the leather of the shoe. There'll be a pad in there. But you are correct. This is the week where we'll start seeing these regional projections really ramp up.
Well, that's what we
Conference
all
play
get
hits the
excited
midway
because
mark.
I'm covered halfway home in conference play.
Yeah. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. Back-to-back strikeouts for Max Grubbs, and they're 2 down.
And for me, how do I say this and say this? The non-power conferences is what I really start to pay attention to now, because
Say mid-major if you want.
or mid-major, because there's some really good teams at that level, and some of them you look at, man, they got to win here. They need to do this to get themselves in a position.
There's a shot line past the shift by Tyler Garatano. Garatano is 2 for 2 and a walk, and he'll turn that into a double. He's had a good night at the plate. 2 hits, a walk, and a run scored for the number 8 hitter in the Cardinal lineup, Tyler Garatano.
And he put a good swing on that. That ball jumped off his bat.
102 miles per hour on that double. So now Trent Rucker, the number 9 hitter in the lineup, was singled and scored and struck out swinging. He was the 3rd and final strikeout recorded by Hudson Hamlin.
I mean, you look at the West Coast, there's a really good mid-major conference in the West Coast. Start watching those scores, which Cal State Fullerton is involved in.
The Big West, first
Yeah.
pitch, a strike. I think that's the best mid-major conference in the country, and the Sun Belt may be right behind it.
I'm right with it. You're absolutely correct.
And I'm talking about from top to bottom.
Yeah.
Clearly, Coastal was probably the best team out of either of those 2 conferences. Swing and a miss. 0-2 the count to Rucker.
Start watching those, because those teams, unfortunately, a lot of times are one-bid leagues.
0-2 pitch, hit on the ground, slow chopper to third, up with it, throw to first by Borba in time. He continues to make splendid plays on either corner of the diamond. No runs on a hit and a man left. We go to the bottom of the 6th, Texas 15, UIW 4. Longhorn baseball continues in a moment.
Longhorns with an 11-run lead, 15 runs, 10 hits, 1 error for Texas, 4 runs, 6 hits, 2 miscues for UIW. Coming to the plate for the Longhorns, the top of the order here, due in the bottom of the 6th inning. 5th plate appearance for the top of this order in the ball game. As Longhorns have done a nice job tonight of swinging the bat. So maybe some changes defensively. Just trying to look at that. We see it. Anytime I see the home plate umpire pointing to different directions, I believe we have a new first baseman.
We also have a new pitcher.
Justin.
Tanner Crispin is the new pitcher.
Did not see that.
So Crispin, the right-hander out there, and Tanner Crispin will be making, I believe, his first. This will be his 3rd appearance. No record with an ERA of 6. He's worked just 3 total innings, allowed 3 hits, 2 runs, both are no walks, a strikeout, allowed a double and a homer. And opposing hitters batting .273 against him. Tanner is from the Episcopal School of Dallas, right there off the Dallas North Tollway. 6'2", 195-pound redshirt freshman right-hander. So Tanner Crispin is the pitcher. And Ethan Mendoza will lead it off for Texas. Mendoza doubled and scored in the first on a wild pitch. Had an RBI ground out in the second. Walked and scored in the third. Hit into an inning-ending double play in the fourth. So Tanner Crispin, the right-hander, ready to go. And the first pitch misses for a ball. Hayden Capers worked 2 2/3 innings. Allowed 2 hits, 1 run. That was on the big fly from the man on deck, Carson Tenney. 1-0 pitch is taken for a strike. The count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike.
I believe Justin Rumfield is the new first baseman.
He is. 1 walk and 1 strikeout to complete the line for Hayden Capers, who threw 40 pitches. Pitch bounces in the field turf for a ball. The count is 2 balls and a strike to Ethan Mendoza. Two and 1 the count. The 2-ball, 1 strike pitch. Mendoza swings and lifts that foul out of play. Off the roof. 2 and 2 the count. So 2 balls, 2 strikes the count. And the pitch. Upstairs for a ball. Three balls, 2 strikes the count to Ethan Mendoza. And Crispin's pitch. Mendoza swings, pops is sky high and above all of our heads directly behind us and onto the roof. Another right-hander warming up in the Cardinal pen in the event that Tanner Crispin struggles.
I think that Longhorns will have a new pitcher too in the top of the 7th, as there's work in their pen as well.
Another 3-ball, 2 strike pitch. Swung on and the ball hit well. This one out to left, and you can say goodnight to it. Ethan Mendoza with his career best 8th home run of the season. And the Longhorns now lead it 16-4.
Now, we talked about him making a little bit of adjustment. You can see him coming back to be the same thing he's using the whole field, but double to right his first time up, and then pull side homer here. And I'll tell you what, he sets the tone for the top of this lineup, no question.
You know, even for a guy who, and Ethan is at his best, as you pointed out when he's hitting all fields, but even for a guy who hits all fields, it's nice to get a pull side homer every now and then.
Right? Oh yeah, I mean, you know, just can't get pull conscious, but he gets good extension on a 3-2 pitch, knew it was coming, put a good swing on it.
Josh Livingston is going to bat for Carson Tenney. So Josh will get an opportunity, swing the bat, first pitch misses for a ball. Livingston batting .239, 2 homers, 10 runs batted in. Josh, the 6-foot, 215-pound grad transfer from up in northern Collin County in Prosper, went to Prosper Rock Hill, and transferred in from Wichita State. The pitch to Livingston. Checks his swing and takes a strike. Count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Carson Tenney, by the way, it was discovered upon video review that it did clear the monster.
Okay.
So it was a monster shot for Tenney after some extensive video review they did. Pitch swing.
Well, I knew it didn't come back to the field to play.
It did not. He becomes the 45th player to have cleared the monster since it opened in your final year at Texas, 1975. It's the 58th time that it has happened. And for the first 45 seasons at UFC Disch-Falk Field, the wall, of course, sat 20 feet high. Here's Lestrange. The 1-2. Swung on it. A ball hit sky high. Out to right center. Two outfielders converge, and it took the sliding center fielder Trenton Rucker to make the catch for out number 1. That got kind of close.
It did.
Right fielder number 32.
Communication.
Yeah, I started to say you've spoken often about outfield communication. So now Maddox Mansour will get an at bat. He'd entered the ball game, went in an inning ago defensively for Aiden Robbins. He actually went into his spot in the order, but went into right field. Duplantier moved from right to center. Pitch high and tight for a ball to Mansour for a ball. Maddox is batting .231 in a total of 26 at bats. Has 6 hits with a triple. He's driven in 7 runs and has scored 7 runs. Swinging and a miss. Mansour, freshman from Carrollton, Georgia. 5'11", 205-pound right-handed hitter. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. 1 run home on the Mendoza leadoff homer here in the bottom of the 6th. Here's the pitch. And that's in there for a strike.
Good breaking ball there. We had seen that. That was a good one at the knees away from him.
1-1 the count. Here's the pitch. Misses for a ball. Keith mentioned that Justin Rumfield is in at first base. 6'2", 205-pound redshirt senior right-hander from Keith Moreland's home county, Denton County. I guess you were actually originally in Collin County, weren't you?
Collin County.
Because Princeton, right?
Princeton, and that's more my parents than me. But I spent most of my time in Dallas County because Carrollton was in Dallas County.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Rumfield out of Denton High is the first baseman. 2 balls, 2 strikes to count to Mansour in the pitch. Swung on, popped in the air. Back behind third, the shortstop Tabor calling for it in foul ground. Makes the catch, and they're 2 down.
You know, when these at bats, and it sounds strange. You look at the game; it's not going to really the outcome of the game, but you want to grind through these at bats, and just like it's a nothing game, because end of the year in college baseball, you get 250 of them if you play every day, and each one of them really counts. So don't go to the plate and give one away. Keep grinding through the at bat.
Anthony Pack has been able to do that. Had an RBI ground out in the first, reached on a walk and scored in the second. Drove in 2 runs with a base hit and scored in the third. Takes a pitch upstairs and also struck out swinging. In the top of the 7th for UIW, they will have the top of the order. And they would need at least 3 runs to keep the game going, as Texas is up by 12 here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Pitch misses upstairs. Otherwise,
there will be a new pitcher for Texas. It's a right-hander. I just can't see it.
Might be Jason Flores.
Could be, or Walls. One of the
or
two.
Walls, right. And they were 2 guys that Jim Schlossnagle mentioned could see action tonight. 2-0 the count to Pack. The 2-0. He swings and sends it sky high. This one out to left, calling for it. Weaver settles under to make the catch, and that will retire Texas in the 6th. Longhorns have scored in every at-bat except the 5th inning. They get a run on the leadoff homer by Mendoza, and nobody left on base. We go to the 7th. Texas 3 outs away from winning this one on the 10-run rule. It's Longhorns 16, UIW 4. Longhorn baseball continues in a moment. I just changed out the batteries in both of those.
the bullpen here as we go to the top of the 7th. 16-4 Texas lead. And out of McKinney Boyd High School in McKinney, Texas, Collin County, comes Brody Walls. He's a 6 foot, 200-pound freshman. And Walls, his last couple of outings, has been really good. He's making his 8th appearance, 1-0 record, 6.57 ERA. 12 in the 3rd innings of work. He's allowed 10 hits, 10 runs, 9 of those earned. He's walked 5 while striking out 17. He's surrendered 3 extra base hits, including a homer. Opponents are only hitting .208 against him. He has hit 4 batters, and Longhorns trying to secure their 27th victory are 3 outs away.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Keith. Brody pitched really well in Columbia, other than the home run that he gave up.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he pitched really well.
Yeah, he has his last 3 outings. He's been in the strike zone. He's got a really good movement to his fastball and a sweeping breaking ball.
So, Brody Walls will go to the mound. Max Grubbs had a very effective inning for Texas. Did allow a 2-out double, nothing more than that. Grubbs in 1 inning of work, allowed 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts, and he threw 14 pitches. So here we go in the 7th. The Longhorns need 3 outs to end this one on the 10-run rule, and they're up by 12. The first pitch misses down and into Newberry for a ball. Newberry is technically 0 for 3, although he did drive in a run on a fly ball that went off the glove of Aiden Robinson. Was going to go for a sac fly anyway. Lifts a pitch high down the left field line. We'll see. Yep, reaching back is Pack to make the catch for out number 1. The breeze started to bring it back over, and he was able to do it. And so there's 1 out there here in the 7th. So with 1 down, Jake Weaver, 0 for 3, does have a run batted in on a ground out. Comes to the plate now. First pitch misses inside for a ball. For those of you listening on the radio, and for those of you watching the simulcast, if you want to flip over to the radio for the postgame show, we'll have highlights, stats, scores from around the SEC. Here's the 1-0, and it's fouled straight back. Keith will be down on the field. He'll visit with head coach Jim Schlossnagle and a Longhorn player. That's all coming up on the postgame on radio side at 103.1 FM and on the iHeartRadio app and the Texas Longhorns app and online at texaslonghorns.com. A ball and a strike to count to Jake Weaver. The 1-1 from Walls, and that one snaps inside for ball 2. So those of you who've been enjoying the simulcast, glad to have you alongside. If you want to catch the postgame show, that'll be on the radio side. Following this final out, Longhorns need 2 more outs to close this one out in 7 innings. Pitch 1 on, that ball's hit on the nose, right to center. Coming in, Duplantier sliding in to make the catch, and there are 2 down. So the Longhorns an out away from ending this one on the 10-run rule. Tony DeJesus doubled and scored his last time up. Scored the 4th run of the ball game for UIW. But Texas up by 12 and on the verge of closing this one out. Brody Walls looking to do just that. Here's the first pitch. Fastball that missed upstairs for a ball. Will be on the air from Bluebell Park in College Station on Friday night. Keith and I will be there to call that one for you. The Cotton Holdings Lone Star Showdown Rivalry Series. Friday night. Will be on the air. That pitch is taken for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. We'll be on the air at 6:45. The first pitch is 7 o'clock from Bluebell Park. We'll be over in the Brazos Valley. Hope you'll join us on Friday night. What a big series it always is between those two. The 1-1. And that one downstairs for ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. A&M will go into that series with a 7-5 conference record. The Longhorns 9-3 in the SEC. Big weekend series at Bluebell Park, and it begins Friday night. The 2-ball, 1-strike pitch to DeJesus. That snaps in for strike 2, and the Longhorns are a strike away. So we'll hope you'll join us Friday night. Pre-game airtime 6:45, first pitch at 7 o'clock here on 103.1 FM and also on the apps and online. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The 2-2 pitch, and that misses downstairs. The count is full at 3-2. A&M may be coming off a loss. The Aggies are down 9-7 to Texas State in the bottom of the 8th at San Marcos. So A&M with one more at bat in that one. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Brody Walls with a payoff pitch. And a little tapper out front, and they call it a foul ball. Spins back in the foul ground. So they'll do it all over again. At 3-2. Three balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here's the payoff pitch. Swung on a fly ball to right. Right at Mansour. He has it, and that will do it. The Longhorns will win this one in 7 innings, 6.5 to be exact. In the top of the 7th, 1-2-3 go the Cardinals of the University of the Incarnate Word. Final score here tonight at UFC Disch-Falk Field. The Texas Longhorns 16, the UIW Cardinals 4. We thank you for joining us on SEC Network Plus. For those of you on the radio side, we'll have the post-game show coming up. Longhorn baseball continues in a moment.